to drop right here at 9 o'clock here on the network. We will have an ultimate premiere of that game coming up very, very soon. But here's what I got for you. And you'll hear me reference this in the film study. I think that there's an analogy here to be used from a different sport in this football game, and that's baseball. Okay, analytics have jacked up a lot of our sports world, but they've really, really jacked up pitching rotations in baseball. Analytics have found that the third time a batter sees a singular pitcher, his batting average goes through the roof. His runs and score, all of his data goes through the roof because he's seen the guy for a third time. He's more likely to get a good barrel on the ball. I feel that way about defensive coordinators facing offensive coordinators for the third time in a row, or third season in a row, or third time period. I feel as if when I get the same pitcher over and over again 3 times in a row, I am very, very comfortable. The prep becomes much, much easier. The fastballs are grooved. I can see the pitches where I need to see them. I feel more comfortable. I hit it better. I feel like that's what's happened or will happen. It's what happened, in my opinion, with Pitt playing Georgia Tech. And I think it has an opportunity to happen this weekend with Georgia's defensive brainchild that is, and brain stem that is Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann, having kind of had it handed to them by this Buster Faulkner guy the last 2 years. I think they got a chance to have this football team uber prepared. There were multiple times in that Pitt study that we're going to show you tonight in about 17 minutes where Pitt football players are calling out motions before they happen. Where a corner walks down on a wide receiver, points at the guy stacked behind him, and goes like this and tells Haynes to go ahead and send him in motion because we know he's going in motion. That's how prepped Pitt was. That's how aggressive Pitt was. That's how very comfortable with what we're seeing Pitt was. I expected to happen this week for Georgia as well. They were even stretching alignments. If they caught running back alignment a little funky, might indicate truck toss. They were bumping out, stretching alignment. Like they were so keyed in to everything that it was Georgia Tech was doing. I thought the other thing that was noticeable is that it was very obviously a bad day for Georgia Tech on the offensive side of the football. Missed assignments, missed executions, dropped passes, errant throws by the quarterback that a 73% completion percentage guy had been completing prior to that matchup between them and Pitt. So it was a very bad day for Georgia Tech, compiled on the fact that Pitt was very, very comfortable and aggressive on the defensive side of the football. I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this to be a slight. I mean this to be a compliment. I don't think there's a single NFL football player on the offensive line for Georgia Tech, and I could be wrong. But I don't think there is a guy there that will be playing on Sundays. That being said, they're really good. Like, they're not talented, but they're really good. They're well coached. They don't have a lot of busted assignments. They execute well. They run the right plays the right way, and they're schematically sound. So there is that. All that being said, like 3 years in a row, I've watched Georgia defensive linemen just park their ass in the backfield. I imagine something like that's going to happen again this weekend. So it's about overcoming that. It's about overcoming and hiding an offensive line deficiency in this matchup for Georgia Tech. And I'm going to tell you right now, Haynes King is great. He's a great runner of the football. He's fun to watch. He's tough as nails. But I do not think he is comfortable driving the ball down the field. If you get this guy into automatic passing downs, if you get this guy into situations where they're playing from behind, they feel like they got to create a bunch of chunks, he sprays it. It doesn't look comfortable. It does not look comfortable watching Haynes King try to drive the ball deep overs, verticals, anything 20 yards beyond from the launch point. Doesn't look all that good. I don't think he's very good at it. I think he's great in the flats. I think he's great running the football. I mean, he is shit, guys. Last week he dropped back 48 times. I think he threw it for 220 yards while coming back from behind. It's a lot of tackling in the flat, which is a big, big matchup for Georgia this week. Corners got to shed blocks. Corners got to rally the football. Corners got to tackle. That's what they got to do. And honestly, the last 4 weeks, they've been doing that at a really, really high rate. Massive game for DeMello Jones this week, in my opinion. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the seemingly downfall, I don't want to say downfall, but downtrend of this Georgia Tech offense has kind of coincided with the uprising of this Georgia defense to where it's coming at a perfect time if you're a Georgia fan.
Yeah, we talked about that last night. It's two totally different arcs for these football teams right about now. Georgia feels like they're on an upward trend. Georgia Tech feels like they're trying to limp to the finish line right about now. Let's get into it. Clean, old-fashioned hate, 3:30, Saturday afternoon, inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Friday afternoon. inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium on ABC. What are your thoughts in terms of keys to this football game, Kirby?
So Georgia Tech has not been very good on time of possession this year. That's partially because they are very explosive. They score quickly on offense, but they've also been giving it up on defense. On the flip side of that, if you look at these last 3 games with Buster Faulkner and Brent Key as Georgia Tech's head coach, they've been able to very much lean on Georgia. It's why Georgia was caught in such an awkward position last year, because they had like 4 possessions in the first half, and before you knew it was 17-0. My key to this matchup is which team can suffocate the other. Which team can basically just take the wind out of your sails, control time of possession, make you feel like you have to play from behind, make you feel like you have to be the one to hit the explosives. Because if so, you're going to be in a really good shape. It favors Georgia right now.
It's a great point. It's honestly kind of leading into my sudden key this football game is, can Georgia Tech go back to the way that they played games last year? Can Georgia Tech go back to being a 38-minute time of possession football team? What Kirby just laid out, they don't do this year. They don't give teams 4 possessions in the first half total. That's not how they play. They give 6 or 7 possessions in the first half total now because they play a lot faster. The last time Jonathan and I looked, they were 107th in time of possession. They're not a methodical machine anymore. So can they go back to that? Because that's the recipe for winning, in my opinion, in this football game. You got to get Georgia off the field early, and you got to hold the ball. Because if you leave your defense on the field for 14 possessions on Saturday, I got a feeling Georgia has a likelihood to score on 9 of those 14 possessions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of points that you got to now score. So I think that's the key in this football game. Can Georgia Tech go back to playing last year's brand of football?
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to. You're going to have to, dude. I think Georgia's defense or Georgia's offense has an opportunity. If you gave them a realistic, hey, here's 14 possessions, they might score 45 points on Saturday or Friday night.
God, yeah.
Friday afternoon. I mean, they'll run it up and down the field. So I think that's the key in this one for me for Georgia Tech. For Georgia, is not allowing them to do that.
Who can suffocate who?
Yeah, who can suffocate the other? It's very similar to yours. What's your X factor?
I think that this is going to be a very, very big game for, like you said, tackling in the flats, but also run fills. Haynes King, as we know, is a very dangerous runner with his legs. I'm not going to break news here. I think it's safe to assume that there might be a Georgia linebacker that will not be present for this game.
Yeah, no, I don't expect CJ Allen to play.
That's what I was going to do. So how the rest of that room plays without him there, because we said this guy was on pace to have 100 tackles. He was a finalist for the Butkus Award. He is a major component of that defense. Him not being there is going to leave a gap. It didn't seem that bad against Charlotte. What does that room look like against a much more competent opponent?
Competent opponent and complicated opponent.
Yes.
This is a massive linebacker test. It's a massive eye discipline test. This is a B gaps getting pressed, but the flats getting thrown to. Can you press B gap, shut off the run gap, then pursue out to the sidelines? Which for me, that's why the X factor is pursuit and tackling. All right. You've got to be able to rally to the ball and get guys down on the ground. Because again, their whole entire game plan is to modern option their way down the field, essentially. Every play has 4 opportunities on it. The quarterback could be keeping the ball. The running back could be keeping the ball. The quarterback could be throwing to the tight end in the flat. The quarterback could be throwing to a wide receiver somewhere within a 10-yard vicinity. Every play has a potential to beat you. When it gets thrown to wherever it's getting dedicated to, we got to rally to the football and get the guy on the ground.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Unless it doesn't happen, Christian Kirby, what you got for me?
The Georgia offense has been an interesting dynamic this year where it's been taken over by guys, but it's been different guys every game. We've seen Chauncey Bowens have a great game. We've seen Zachariah Branch take over. We've seen Nate Frazier go for 180 rushing yards. Bo Walker had 3 touchdowns last week. Lawson Lucky had 3 touchdowns against Ole Miss. I think it's Oscar Delp's turn. Give me number 4 having his career day against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Raylan Wilson. 12 tackles
in
this football game total. Maybe 7 solos, 5 assists. Give me 12 tackles total for number 5 in this football game. A big-time career game for Raylan.
Big-time climb up the draft board.
Honestly, that's where I was going next. Like, it's the time of the year. I felt like Smile played really, really good down the stretch last year. Like, it's about the time where one of these linebackers kind of just, like, takes over. CJ was already on his way to doing it.
Yep.
The injury obviously subsides that for a little bit. But I expect Raylan to have a good game. This is a third prep for Raylan for this one, man.
Yeah.
It's the third time he's seen this offense. He feels comfortable, I would imagine, getting the looks and playing fast and free. That's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know how you feel, but I feel as if, and I could be setting myself up here, but I feel as if Georgia Tech is a product of ACC scheduling, and they're I'm not going to say considerably worse football team than they were a year ago, but they're a worse football team, in my opinion, than they were a year ago. I felt like I was more concerned about this matchup for Georgia last year because of the NFL tight end that they had, and they had Eric Singleton on that football team, or Nick Singleton. Eric. They had Eric Singleton on that football team. And still had Jamal Haynes.
Yes.
Still had the nucleus of the offensive line. Still had the Rutherford kid. Still had Haynes King.
It was a weird dynamic last year because there was the Haynes King's injured. Aaron Philo might start.
Yeah.
We don't really know what we're going to get. I would say I'm equally as concerned.
All right. What's your score prediction, Kirby?
Give me the Dogs winning 34-23.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, 34-24.
I think it's a comfortable game. I don't think Georgia kills them. I don't think it blows them out of the water.
I think it's the 34-17, 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And then Georgia's trying to milk the clock and Tech scores late.
I think this game plays out very similar to how 2023 was, where they were never in danger of losing that game, but it also felt like Tech was in striking distance the entire way through, and they just ran out of time.
Speaking of running out of time, we're running out of time here on the show. We've already gone 2 hours and 6 minutes. That flew by, Kirby.
It did.
Probably that was really, really quick. We are 5 minutes away from premiering our Georgia Tech What to Expect episode. You were in here during that film study. What was your general takeaway before we pass it off to our film study?
Yes, there's a lot that this Tech offense has flawed, and I think it's gotten exposed throughout the year. But I also think, like you pointed out, that was not their game. That was not a good game for them. That was we're missing wide open throws. We've got digs over the middle. We've got, crosser routes that we're missing on, drops, stuff like that you can't expect will be there on the next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Tech's offense looked horrible against Pitt. Don't expect that to be the same offense you get as a Georgia fan.
Yeah, I would expect they executed a much higher rate on Saturday against the Georgia Bulldogs in that rivalry matchup. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Like I said, we have a film study debuting here in about 5 minutes here on the network. Make sure you're liking that stream as well. For you Patreon-only subscribers and you dog fans listening today, we will have a Young Guys film study tomorrow over on Patreon. That will be Patreon only. That will not be up here on YouTube. If you're looking for that, the link is in the description. It's patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Hey, this is what it's all about right here. I think we converted one. Shout out to Spartan. This is a pretty good show. I'll take pretty good. I'm aiming for great. We're chasing greatness around here. Appreciate you for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I love you. Goodbye.
Do a pretty good job, too.
Hey, we'll take a quick minute to give a shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. What a great time to be here on this network this year, but also a great time to be with our friends over at Sleeper. Go over to Sleeper today, the #1 place for daily fantasy and prop plays. Sleeper Picks is a real money product that connects friends over picks. Choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame, live, or even across different sports. Pick more than or less than the predicted stats. It's that simple. On Sleeper, you can get up to 100x payouts. Share with your friends and get rewarded today. Use promo code Brooks, as you see on the screen, on Sleeper and get 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, that's sleeper.com/promo/Brooks. Terms and conditions apply. Boys, as you know, we're about 28 minutes at the time of this ad read from the kickoff of NFL Sunday. So go ahead, run over to Sleeper right now. I give you permission to leave the stream actively. Go over to Sleeper, get a play in right quick, and get paid. We appreciate those folks over there at Sleeper. Again, that's promo code Brooks over there on Sleeper.